important glasses. Those are my bedtime glasses. So those are the ones like they just look rough.
Pairs, so I understand.
Ooh, there you go. These are the ones I can see. You know, they don't look as beat up.
Perfect.
Thank you for joining me. I've been trying to get you for weeks. You know, not in the lover way, but you know, for you to come on my show.
Yeah, girl. It's been rough because it's Mardi Gras, it's Lundi Gras today. It's Fat Monday, so they got a lot of stuff going on. And I've been telling people for days, like, I forgot to put on my email, like when you got to town, you send the email reminder, hey, I'm going out of town. I forgot to put the email reminder, hey, it's Mardi Gras if I don't respond. Yeah. And of course, I get 1,000 emails in the past 5 days.
What? So Mardi Gras is that, and I'm ignorant a lot. I don't know if you watch the show, but I'm ignorant on a lot of things. So I'm going to ask you a lot of good questions, all right? So for Mardi Gras, is it that you have an increase of guests down there because they're visiting from other cities? Or, what talk to us about Mardi Gras, what that look like?
Yeah. So if you're not familiar with what Mardi Gras actually is, I'm just turning up the volume. So Mardi Gras is around basically Christmas up until Ash Wednesday. So Mardi Gras is always the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, so it's always on a Tuesday. And it starts on King's Day. So January 6th is King's Day, and that's the start of Mardi Gras season. And what a lot of people don't realize is that Mardi Gras is not just a day, it's a season. So it's pretty much carnival, right? And carnival is a season. It's not just a day. Mardi Gras is literally a season. So for like the last 3 weeks, there's been events every single day. And so, people who don't live here don't realize that we are all probably either booked and busy or just like we can't go nowhere because there's so much traffic and then there's so many people coming in town. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of things. And then me personally, I've been picking up shifts and I've also been teaching classes. Like I have a class tomorrow on actual Mardi Gras day when nobody works. And people don't realize that. They'll be like, I was supposed to do something tomorrow. I think it got canceled. Supposed to do something tomorrow afternoon. And just like me sending the emails, I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this shit. I don't. Like, it's Mardi Gras. But, I don't want to, ruin my, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want people to think I'm unreliable.
All right, ruin your reputation.
So, yeah, and then I didn't say anything about it. So, and then I also don't want people to think that I'm just out here partying when I'm really just working my ass off. You know what I mean? Like most of us are doing.
Can't you do a little bit of A, a little bit of B, work your ass off and party off at the same time?
Girl, try. Try.
Wow. I've never been down there for Mardi Gras. I know little to nothing about it. So you've been on here for 5 minutes. You've already blew my fucking mind already. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. So before we get in it, because I got so many questions. All right. The beautiful. So am I pronouncing it right, Janae?
Yes, Janae. Okay.
And how do you say is it Angelle or how do you say it? Angelle.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, I love your first name. I love both names together. Sound so, so angelic. Like, ooh, she's about to put a, little magic.
It's got a little ring to it.
It's good. So tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from. Introduce us to the wonderful Janae.
Okay. Well, my name is Janae Angelle Williams. I'm from, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I live here now. I have been bartending for about 10 years now, which sounds like forever. I started bartending in college. I worked at like this really horrible margarita bar. I started as like a hostess and then moved up to server. I wasn't making enough money, so then I by chance, you know how that happens for us sometimes, by chance, I got promoted to bartender. And then I did that until I graduated. And while I tried to figure things out after college, I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then I happened to get a job at a cocktail bar. So in 2017, I was working at a sports bar. And I hated it. It was a toxic work environment. The money was okay, but all the stress was not worth it. So I quit. I just quit. And I just went. I was walking around the city because it's New Orleans. There's so many bars, and everybody's always hiring. Or at the time, everybody was always hiring, right? So I just started walking around, and I happened upon this place, and they liked me in the interview, and they needed diversity, so they hired me. And I walked up in there and it was like, oh, so do you know how to make cocktails? I'm like, yeah, I know how to make drinks, right? I'm like, oh, but you don't know how to make, like, do you know how to make classic cocktails? I'm like, I know how to make them classically, yes. You know, girl, I didn't know what they was talking about. And that girl, when I figured it out, once I learned, you know, what classic cocktails and craft cocktails were, which was only 5 years ago, it changed my life. I was like, oh, okay, so this is what y'all doing over here.
Right.
This is what y'all doing. And then also, me being a native New Orleanian, I'm like, how did I not know about this? You know what I mean? I didn't find out what Tales of the Cocktail was till 2017. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just like, and that goes to, you know, and that speaks to how, you know, the gatekeeping in the South and New Orleans in general when it comes to high profile jobs or jobs, you know, that are seen to be, you know, for educated people. Right. So 2017, I figured out how to navigate, or I started figuring out how to navigate the craft and cocktail world. And then, yeah, I just kind of like was making the connections, going everywhere I could go, you know, taking opportunities left and right. And then, yeah, so I think I left that job in 2018 and I started working at Bakery Bar. And then Bakery Bar was a job I had right before the pandemic. So we got furloughed, I'm going to say March 2020, like most people. And then after that, that's when I started getting contacted through my, you know, my network. People were looking for bartenders to produce content and they were paying money. So I'm like, okay, cool, I could do this. And then I also had this looming idea of filming myself making cocktail videos. I was thinking about making cocktail videos like 7 months before pandemic even happened. I was just too scared to do it. I was like, people don't think this is weird.
yeah, and that creeps sometimes. Like, man, they're not gonna understand. This is dumb.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So I started making videos for companies. I started creating cocktails for publications. I was teaching classes, and I did that for about a good year. And then I started making my, you know, little videos on Instagram, and people actually like this. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do this. And so, yeah, I've been doing that for 2 years now.
Wow. So you've been doing that and then working at the bars, and that's kind of been like your main, like some people say, what's your real job? But that's essentially been your real job.
Yeah, I would say so. I officially left full-time bartending in September 2020, right before Hurricane Ida. Of course, you know, it had to happen right before a hurricane. So I was like really low on money. I blew through my savings during Ida, but God willing, I'm still paying my bills. But yeah, so I would say my business is my main gig. So my business, Pretty Magic Cocktails, I teach virtual and in-person cocktail classes, and I also get commissioned to create social media content as well as content that I create for myself. So that's the two kind of like prongs of my business. So I do that full time, especially in March. I've got a lot going on. So yeah.
Flexing and the OT. Go ahead, girl.
It was a stressful January, I tell you that. So them holiday classes was coming, and then as soon as, you know, New Year's was over, it was like, okay, we cocktailed out, ma'am.
Yeah. I was over here January like, woo, sure would like to pay a bill.
Yeah.
somebody booked me or something. I'm about to get back on the pole.
Yeah, girl, tell me about it. But I've been kind of just like filling in the gaps with just picking up shifts around town. Luckily, I have, you know, I've built up kind of like a reputation where people can trust me. And, you know, because I'm well-versed in cocktails, you don't really have to train me much to make most of the drinks that people order. So I just call people up and I'm like, hey, you manage at such and such, right? Y'all need somebody real quick. You know?
Yeah. Oh, so that's I always wonder, like, when some people are just like, because some places they're like, you're going to have to train here 10 days. That means you get 10 days of training pay, not real pay, before you can work there. And I'm just like, there's no benefit in me having to stay here for 8 hours for training pay. You know?
Yeah.
So
I think they know I don't play that. They know I don't have time. If you want me to do all of that, I ain't got time. And then, you know, just circumstances we're in now, it's hard to find people who actually want to work. So they're like, okay, well, you just want to pick up a couple shifts till we get our stuff together? Fine, that's cool. You know, I'd be like, And it's just about also just maintaining that mentality, and it shows them how to treat you and how to respect you. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I am definitely that person. Like, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna do my job well, but I'm leaving at the end of the day.
Okay.
Y'all don't own me, right? You can
Right.
call me, but I answer the phone if I want to. I'm not gonna answer the phone because I have to.
Okay. That's what I want. That's what I want to
Yes,
do. Because I don't want to like, I just want to pick up shifts when I want to pick up shifts. They're just like, okay, well, you got to work this many hours a week. And I'm just, as a freelancer,
yeah.
we make videos, that takes time. You got to edit them bitches,
Time.
you know how much work it takes. So me
Yeah.
being in a place for 13 hours a day doesn't really help me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I had to kind of just like cut myself off. I had to take that jump because I was managing at Bakery Bar. So before I left in September, I was managing, and there were only two of us. So I was full time there and trying to, do my videos and do my side commissions at the time. And then, I have a 2-year-old, so it's a lot. But then I was like, okay, I can't keep doing this because like I'm here because I have to be here. And then just being, customer interaction and the physical and mental act of bartending, it takes a lot out of you. So when you sit down and do some work, it's almost impossible because you're so like you need to recover.
Yeah, you get so drained because you have the personality and the energy, and people don't understand that there's such, especially when you're positive. Like I just feel this conversation real quick. I'm sorry, Janae. I had to flex real quick. Yes, Lindsay, this is Satin Line. Okay, yes, I am flexing. So when you have that positive energy, people feed off of it, and they almost kind of like suck it from you. So when you are spending all this time doing it, you have to recover. You got to regroup. I don't like to talk to people all day. They're like, let's go hang out. I'm just like, I'm peopled out right now. Go look at my videos real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
so
not.
What were you doing? Well, what did you go to college for?
Oh, so I went to LSU. I went to LSU to be a doctor. I wanted to be a dentist. Honestly, I still see myself going back to school and pursuing my medical degree. I just need to get these finances together first. So,
yeah. Oh my God. So, like, first of all, I love bartending. I went to school. I got like 29 degrees. I got my master's.
Oh, nice.
And then I was like, this ain't for me. So I love bartending. But what made you say, I'm going to jump in and kind of veer off my path a little bit to do bartending versus just keep pushing forward to be in the medical profession?
Wait, say it again. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
That's okay. It happens to me all the time. What caused you to go down the path of being a bartender versus staying on trajectory to go into the medical field?
Girl, happenstance. So I when I left college, I was very determined. I've always been goal oriented, so I knew what I wanted to do. It's just that working and trying to study it was not my specialty. I graduated. I think I had a good GPA. I did have a good GPA. Girl, I can't even remember what it is. But I didn't graduate with honors, but I did have over 3.0, I believe. But so like I'm smart, but like working almost full time. I pretty much work full time, and like going to school, it was stressful. And at that point, after I graduated, I was like, I'm done doing this shit. I mentally cannot do it anymore. I need a break. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was bartending, and then like for a few years I was like bartending and then studying, and then like, okay, I'm gonna take a break, and and then also I was in a relationship that kind of like was also draining my focus.
Oh, that always happens.
Yes, girl.
These niggas.
Always. But we have a child together now, so I can't get rid of him.
Oh, okay.
But so once I started working at my cocktail job, I kind of was like, I realized the opportunity there, and that's where things changed. So I stopped being somebody who was wanting to pursue medicine and just bartending for the time being while I was young, to somebody who was like, okay, I see opportunity here. How can I turn this into something for my favorite? And that's the thing for me, like, I'm a boss woman now, but I always had that mentality. I knew bartending wasn't something, or at least bartending behind the bar wasn't something that I always wanted to do. I was going to learn as much as I could and try to use that knowledge to run up a bag some way other than being behind the bar. Because I saw it, you know, I feel like being behind the bar has very limited earning potential. And it's also really, really draining. You know, it's very much for the young and the people who don't have nothing else to do or no responsibilities or less responsibilities.
Yes.
So I was like, I can't be doing this forever. So what are we going to do with this? You know, I spent so much time in this career already. What are we going to do? So in about 2018, I learned about, you know, the travel trips, how brands would fly people out or offer opportunities for people to learn. And the first thing that I did was, actually it's 2017. Excuse me. I did Behind the Barrel with Wild Turkey. So they flew us out, showed us the distillery, you know, did some immersive kind of like whiskey training. Girl, I was just like shocked. Like, these what people do? They really do this for y'all? And this is not the first thing that you done like this. Girl, I was like, okay, yeah. So in 2018, I was like, girl, I'm going everywhere. I'm applying for everything. I'm doing every damn thing that comes my way. So in 2018, what did I do? I did so much shit. My coworkers hated me too because I was gone like every month. I did.
Yeah, they probably didn't like that. Like, you think you too good.
No. And then it was mad that half of it I didn't even have to pay for. It was mad.
And you ain't have to sleep with nobody. Damn, I've been doing this wrong.
Right, girl.
So how do you get flued? You know, most of us want to get flued out. How did you get flued out by these brands? Like, how can us little people get some of that action, you know?
Well, let me say, not all of them
right
for travel. Not all of them
but
pay for yeah, but most of them have like an application process, and you apply to go to the program, and then once you get accepted, sometimes they fly you out, sometimes you have to just get there yourself, but really it's it usually lasts from like 2 to 3 days to a week, and they basically teach you about everything that they say they want to teach you about. And it's like a double-edged sword, because you learn things, but you also make connections, because you'll meet people from across the country, other bartenders from across the country. And me doing multiple of those things really, really broadened my my reach. So I knew people, you know, I live in Louisiana. I knew people in DC. I knew people in Washington, people in California. That was a game changer for me. It's just like being able to travel, going to these programs. And then I was learning so much and meeting so many people. So tails the next year, I had a whole squad. Like, they was like, I'm coming to town. I'm like, okay, bitch, come to my bar. I'm gonna break my shift. We're gonna go out later. It was a vibe. And then it's just been growing ever since. And then this year and last year, of course, it's been growing more on the social media aspect. So that's how I've been connecting with people, which has been really, really good, because I met people like you. Yay! And you know, y'all cool people. Because let me tell you.
I don't think so. I don't kill anyone, or I'm not a murderous person. So yeah, I think I'm cool. Wow, like, you have such a full body of work. When you're doing your cocktailing, how did you learn what flavors meld with what? How do you learn, you know, because I fancy you call yourself a mixologist, right?
Oh yeah, I guess. I
flex, girl. If you gonna flex it all the way.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many terms. If somebody asks me, like, I've been asked a few times for like quoting, like, what do you call yourself? I'll first and foremost, I'm a bartender. Right. I'm also a cocktail educator, because I teach people how to make cocktails in classes, but I'm also a cocktail specialist. I can mix and make drinks, but I can also create cocktails. Yeah, I like that. But what I was the question, like, how did I get to that point to like learn all that stuff?
Yeah, how did you get to that point of learning all that? And also, you know, I think for other people who are new and coming up, they're not sure what flavors go with what. They might try to put peanut butter and artichoke together, and it's like, fam, that's not the case. So how did you learn? How did you get to the point of where you could call yourself what you call yourself, and how did you learn those skills so that you can create delicious cocktails for people?
Okay, so I think the first thing that all bartenders should do is just learn the classics. The classics are kind of like the guidebook to creating cocktails. So once you learn the classics and you learn most of their recipes, you'll see how pretty much all of them are the same. They're all the same thing, but just tweaking, just, changing whiskey to rum, or, changing it to champagne. It makes a totally different cocktail, but with the same dynamics, right? So that's when you learn kind of like the concept of making riffs or cocktail variations. And you learn how to kind of like substitute different things. So instead of maybe using simple syrup, you'll use a strawberry shrub or a strawberry syrup instead. I feel like that's how you get into kind of like the brain of how to create cocktails or make your own variations. And then I would say it's really experience. So if you want to be the best, you got to work with the best, right? You have to try to achieve as much as you can. And as much as I don't want to be behind the bar anymore, or at least in a limited capacity, because I don't think I could leave totally. It is the best way to learn. There's the thing about that hive brain, you know what I mean? If it weren't for the people around me, kind of like bouncing ideas off of me, I wouldn't have learned half of the things I know now. So it's about finding a good bar environment that is focused on, making cocktails correctly, and having people that you can trust, or at least people you can collaborate with. So if you want to be a craft cocktail bartender, go apply to that, that big old craft cocktail job. Go apply to that big old bar. And if they don't accept you, try something a little easier, but you definitely don't want to underestimate yourself. You know what I mean? Right. I worked at I feel like the hardest bar, the bar with the most complicated cocktail list, and also the more choices to play with, because that's the thing, was this bar called Compare Le Pain, which is owned by Chef Nina Compton. She's that bar actually won to the cocktail best hotel bar the year that I started working there. It's pretty legit. The cocktail program was really, really nice. They had some things I had never tried before, so I got to, and that's the thing, like better bars have better ingredients, so you get to see all the nice, cool things. And then the liquor reps, when they get something new in, they take them to the cocktail bars first. You know what I mean? Right. So you get to try all of the new things, and even if they don't keep it in stock, you can keep it in mind for cocktail ingredients for the future. So that's the thing. If you want to be the best, you got to work with the best. And that's the thing. I don't know if you get this.
I probably don't.
But don't say that. But I get a lot of new bartenders asking me, like, how do I do this? And mostly some people who have never had bar experience, like, I want to be a bartender. How do I become you? And I'm like, well, you have to work behind a bar. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you want to be a legit bartender, you're going to need that experience. Like, you can learn how to make cocktails from a book or watching YouTube videos, but you're not going to make them like a seasoned bartender.
Right.
So even if that's not something that you want to do for the rest of your life, try to get a shift somewhere, maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Like, you have to put yourself in the environment, or you're not gonna be me. I'm sorry.
I agree. Like, it's nothing like working behind the bar, because it's a whole different experience. Just the people having to move at a certain speed to get things out, having to navigate other people's. We were talking about, I'm in this management class, and we were talking about how it's sometimes a dance when you're working with other people behind the bar. You're moving behind, around you, across, all that other stuff. So if you don't have that kind of experience, it's harder, I think, for you to really grasp what a bartender does, and kind of just why we're so important. Everybody feels like you can be a bartender until it's time to be a bartender.
Yeah, sure. Like today, I was I worked a brunch shift at one of the bars that I've been picking up shifts at. And you know how sometimes when you're busy, because we were balls to the wall busy. When you're busy and you get those service wall tickets, and you're just doing the damn thing. You like, you're just doing it. And then you look up, and there's like 10 people staring at you. and being like, yes, bitch, do that shit. I was like, what the fuck?
Yes, they would say they're just looking at you, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's kind of erotic. Like, I had this one lady walking, looking at me, and she was like, "Nah, girl, I'm just go ahead and watch you. I don't even need. I'm just watching you." And I just felt like she was undressing me with her eyes, but you know, just tip me. That's all I ask. Just tip me for my services. You know, what Lindsay said. I learned a lot on my own, but I learned the majority from my peers, the experiences that sir. Absolutely, absolutely. Did you ever go to bartending school?
No.
How do you feel
I got moved up. I got promoted to bartender. So kind of just like, and that's the thing, like the place that I started working at, they didn't really know anything about bartending. They had a simple list of cocktails, you know, mojito, margarita, painkiller, you know, it's like Latin, in a Latin American restaurant owned by some white man. Oh, girl. But yeah, I was like, even then I saw the opportunity because I was like buying cocktail books. None of my coworkers was doing that shit. Which, like, you gonna do that here? I'm like, I'm gonna try. I mean, you know, what is it gonna hurt? So I bought, you know, 2 or 3 cocktail books. Nothing serious, but I was trying. I always had that mentality, like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it well. And then it developed into, okay, if we're gonna keep doing this, we need to figure out how we're gonna get a bigger bag from it.
Right. Gotta get paid for it. You know, a lot of people they can't see that foresight. They just want to get paid immediately. But you have taken this opportunity. You've capitalized on it. You said that you have some or I don't know about corporations, but basically businesses who have hired you to teach them. Like, how did you get that moving? How did you get that working?
Yeah, so I feel like most of it is from the things that I've been doing on social media. So once I started taking my cocktail videos seriously, I knew that I had to have some kind of like overarching theme to it. Like I could just make cocktail videos, but if they weren't kind of like following a certain rule and being like similar to each other and they were just all over the place, people really wouldn't care. Right. So I thought about it and like, what is really important to me? And from the bar perspective, what's really important to me is having my voice heard and also having representation for my community. So my videos always have Black music or music by Black musicians. I try to stick to classic cocktails because, you know, not many Black people are aware even what classic cocktails are, but they may have heard of classic cocktails, or, you know, a lot of Black people have heard of a French 75, but they don't actually know what's in a French 75. Yeah. So I stick to classics, things that people know, and I do them in a way to, you know, to keep people interested, or that my target audience, which is usually are mostly Black people, even though, you know, everyone can benefit from it, and people benefit, you know, other people other than Black people benefit from it all the time. Sorry. But yeah, so it started that way. And once I had an overarching theme, people realized, okay, so this is what she's doing. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, she's just making videos. It's like, oh, she's doing something. And once people realized that, and they also realized that I knew what I was doing, it's like, well, you know, I have this company and I want you to come teach classes for me. So then I started working. So what I first did was I started working for cocktail kit companies. I was teaching classes for them, and I still am sometimes. I teach classes for them. And then, you know, I would advertise myself on social media, or advertise my social media to them and get them to follow me. And then they would, you know, tell their friends, like, oh, yeah, I took this cocktail class. Look at these girls' videos, you know.
Yeah, your videos are really nice. I watch them, like, wow, they're so clear. They have good lighting. They're interesting. You know, videos you have to be interesting to keep people's attention. Like, you can't just be so monotone when you're talking to people, because they're not going to pay attention. Yeah. So fast forward 10 years from now, what's Janae doing?
Ooh, Janae is on the beach somewhere because her is automated.
Okay.
And I am not working at all. I'm just keeping my eyes on the money.
Oh, it's true. So you're looking for that, what do they call it? That passive income.
Yes, that's the goal. Passive income, or if I do show up, I'm getting paid stacks, because that's the only way I'm showing up.
Oh, I have this idea. I want to be I call it the cocktail geisha. So traditionally, geisha, without the sex, I just feel like I got to throw that out there. All right, I'm not having sex with people. unless it's Drake. But but I'm not having sex with people, right? But
Who
gauges are
said
tradition
hard to that?
unless it's Drake or BTS. But that's it. That's all. So, but gauges were tradition. They were good at conversation. They were well-rounded. You know, they were good at music. They could talk about everything. So that's kind of like my goal, but also do the cocktails at the same time. So you're kind of like paying me for my personality. Like we talk about how positive people siphon off the energy off of you, you know, and it's just like, well, if you're going to siphon my energy, you're going to run me some coins for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you something. So a friend of mine, and I like to talk about this during Black History Month as well. So shout out to it being the last day of Black History Month. But a friend of mine told me the concept, or introduced to me the concept of a pain tax. So if you have to talk about something that causes you pain. So for me, I never talk about Hurricane Katrina because Hurricane Katrina completely changed my life. Don't ask me about Hurricane Katrina, or if you do want to ask me about it, you're going to pay me a pain tax.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. And also when people ask you to talk about slavery, they ask you to talk about, right, they ask you to talk about Black pain, you need to be paid for that because that is experience. Mm-hmm. Black pain, or at least like those generational curses, are passed down through generations, right? So you still have the pain from all of that shit that our ancestors went through, and you know that experience not only from yourself but from your family. So you have firsthand experience, and it causes you pain, or at least it causes me pain. So I talk about that specifically for non-Black audiences.
Wow. That is smart, because I'm trying to get all these coins, but that is smart as shizzy.
Yeah, girl.
Wow.
It's not mentally healthy to do. So,
especially to people who probably don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, they're just trying to be nosy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just interested in it because that is something, especially with New Orleans, you guys are hit with hurricanes more often than we are hit with them here in Ohio. Mm-hmm. So that I could see that being something as a source of contention for you. You don't want to keep talking about it over and over again. But I think people like to ask because it literally shows how resilient you guys are down there. Like just imagine all of that's happening to you. And I remember being around during Katrina. I think, what was that, 2004? No.
Katrina was 2006.
I graduated in 2003 from, oh my God, I'm old. But I graduated back then. I remember my people were down in Florida. So we remember about it. It was sad and everything. So to talk about it, yes, you need to pay because nobody wants to keep living in that. So the fact that you guys are out there, you're making it, you're doing it, you keep rebuilding, and the fact that you stayed in Louisiana, you're born and raised, right?
Yeah.
Your whole life, props to you, sister. But it's such a beautiful culture down there. Like, I want to go down there to Louisiana. So when's a good time of year to go down there so I can visit you, so I can taste those cocktails?
Yeah, I would say so. If you can't come from Mardi Gras, because Mardi Gras is very expensive.
I want to go to Mardi Gras so bad.
I know. And I mean, you got friends out here, girl. You can stay with me. You know, or we could run an Airbnb together, girl. We be out here.
I get wild with it. You see my videos with Lindsay. I get wild, okay? I'm really passionate about supporting each other. So, you know, I'll come down there. I'm like, what's up today? You make that fucking cocktail, girl. So, yes.
Yeah, but other than Mardi Gras, I would say festival season, which is spring. So there's a bunch of free festivals too. There's French Quarter Fest, which is one of my favorites. They do like little stations throughout the French Quarter, and they have music, and then there's food, and kind of like boutique pop-ups, all kind of stuff. And then Jazz Fest, not Jazz Fest. Well, yeah, Jazz Fest is one. That gets a little more crowded than the smaller festivals like French Quarter Festival. What'd you say?
The Essence Festival?
That's what I meant to say instead of Jazz Fest. But Essence Fest is 4th of July weekend every year in New Orleans. And girl, it is a vibe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like as a Black person, that's the best time to come. Because it's Black people.
Mm-hmm. I'll come try and get skinny so I can bag me a ball. So yeah, I'll come down.
Tell me about it. And then there's so many Black businesses that come to town too and do their little pop-ups.
Yeah.
And now being an entrepreneur, and now that I can decide my own schedule, I'm gonna try to be in there more because I usually work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be in there
Ooh.
Go to little boutiques. They have all like the black hair companies and all your favorite black designers. They come, and then black musicians. There's a concert every night because it's Essence.
Wow. So you get you like a connect down there and just really just go and work whenever you want to work.
Yeah, girl. Mm-hmm.
That is like the ultimate dream of, especially people like, that's the great thing about being a bartender is that when you have skill and the talent and you can pick up things quickly, you can go anywhere. You don't have to worry about being there 5-7 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry. So I'm going to put that down, be down there for Essence Festival, get that action down there. So how long would you say you've been bartending? How many years would you say?
Yeah, about 10. So I started bartending in 2012.
Okay, so 10 years. Cool. What of the things that you know now, what would you have told younger Janae? 3 things you would have told younger Janae.
If I knew I was going to be the person that I was going to be now, I would have told myself to leave early and often. And I'm saying that in reference to jobs, because there were, and I'm not the person who stays until like I'm so mentally broken that I gotta go. Even though I get really close, but and let me start by saying this. So we all know the South is racist. I'm sure there's a lot of racism up north too, but from personal experience, I feel like Southern racism is like no other. And you might disagree, but like let me put it in terms of the cocktail world. So New Orleans specifically is 60% African American, and if you ever come to the city and be like, why is that broke down? Why is this broke down? That's why.
Oh.
So New Orleans is 60% African American, but if you come to New Orleans and go to your local cocktail bar, and I know you girls like to tussle in NOLA, so don't come for me with it. Cause y'all right, then the ones who know me know that I don't fuck around, so don't come for me. But when you go to a cocktail bar, most of the bartenders are not from Metro New Orleans. They are from New York. They are from Chicago. They are from California, or any other city that has cocktails, and they're like, oh, I want to move to NOLA. Most of the Black New Orleans bartenders in those spaces are also not from New Orleans. So what does that tell you? People come down here, and then that's why there's so much gatekeeping in our community, right? That's why there's so much gatekeeping, because the white bartenders from out of town come down here like, oh, where else? And I've been asked this too. Like, where are all the Black New Orleans bartenders? Where are they? Nobody's giving us those opportunities.
Wow.
Our bar programs, they're bringing people from out of town, right? And what do those people do? They hire people who already know what they're doing, right? They hire people who already know what they're doing, and most of those people are white, because that knowledge is not as accessible by Black people. And then they hire more white people, and then you have a diversity problem, right? So me, like I said, I didn't know that Tales of the Cocktail was a thing until 2017, 5 years ago. And that's because I happened upon. If I hadn't walked into that bar and applied, I would not be here. We wouldn't be on this live. I probably would still be making vodka sodas at the sports bar or something like that. And it's because that kind of thing is not for, I'm not gonna say it's not for us, because everything is for us, but it's not shown to us. There's nobody coming to bars where majority Black people work and be like, hey, there's this thing going on. I work with this brand. There's this thing going on. I work with this brand. I got this new spirit. We're going to have it at Tails, or, just telling us about the things, right? It's not until I got around the white people that I started learning about this stuff.
Yeah.
Once I learned it, I became this.
Amazing.
Yeah. Sorry for that long tangent, but I would have told myself to leave early and often, because people really like to fuck with you. And when you are the only Black person, and that's the thing, I have only worked with another Black person behind the bar twice out of the 6 bars that I worked at. One bar, I didn't work with him at all because we had conflicting schedules. The second one I did. But yeah, leave early, leave often. And also, Don't let people take advantage of you. I want to talk about, if that's okay with you. I don't want to take up.
Go for it.
On this. So I had an incident happen. So when I was working at the first cocktail bar that I ever worked at, it was a horrible work environment because I was very Black girl magic. You know, I'm very confident. I'm also tall. I'm 5'10".
Ooh.
Face, right?
Yeah.
And so does my personality, or at least, you know, I want to say my personality, but my service.
You stand out. You're an eye catcher. Like they see you.
Yeah, absolutely. I attract attention, as we talked about. She's like, you attract attention. I'm like, I do attract attention. That's very. And when you work in a predominantly white space, specifically with predominantly white men, they take offense to that sometimes. So I got a lot of backlash, specifically in front of customers, right? And that's how the culture is. You know, there's a lot of kind of like, oh, you doing that over there? It's not you. That's not how you do that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of that. And I also used to have a bar manager who would come in and just like when he was having a bad day, everybody was having a bad day, right? So there was one in particular where I asked him to do something for me really quickly, and he basically like read me for filth in front of customers. So I had it. I don't remember what I did. I'm not going to go into detail, but we ended up. I was done. I was like yelling and cursing, you know, in a white establishment. So that tells you how pissed. But at the end of the night, he asked to speak to me, and he was like, doesn't everybody have a bad day? You know, like, you know, I'm not always happy to work. You know, sometimes I get frustrated. And I basically was like, motherfucker, you frustrated every day.
Right.
Going on for weeks. And no, I don't understand, because as a Black woman, if that were me, I would have been fired. And that's a word on white people who are not racist, but exhibit internalized racism. You know what I'm saying? I've also had a manager that told me, oh, I give you more shit than everybody else because you take it better.
What?
Internalized racism. Oh. Take it better, or do you think that because I'm a Black woman, I should be able to take it better? Are you basing that off a stereotype, or are you basing that up subjectively off of me? How am I supposed to know that? You don't say shit like that. And that's the kind of thing that I had to experience behind the bar. I'm sure you might have seen something like that.
Oh, yeah.
In your experience as well. But I would have told myself, you know, leave early and often. Don't take no shit. And just keep doing what you're doing, because clearly you're going to get somewhere.
Yeah, look at how far you've come. Like you've taken a lot of those bumps and bruises and look at where you're at. Like, just to be able to do the things that you want to do when you want to do them. Yeah. That's like an American dream for so many of us. I mean, at least for me. Like, I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do, how I want to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
They can catch these metaphorical hands. Let me tell you, I got to when I tell you I am the master of giving shade in the bar world. Ooh. Like, and you get it from customers too. Customers try to try you too. My professional shade is top tier.
Can you give me a little taste? Leave me a little sample. Let me taste that.
Well, what's something I used to use? First of all, if you piss me off, I'm giving you a Gorilla Glass.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Ask me to change it. I'm gonna read you in front of all your homies. Yes. I used to get a lot of people questioning my skills, right? So it's like, you know, a lot of stuff like, can you handle that? Stuff like that. And you know, I'd be like, can you? Because I'd be like, I'm here, ain't I?
Yes, you gotta give it to them sometimes. You know, because they don't realize they're being racist. They don't realize it sometimes because it's so indoctrinated in them.
Yeah. Have you ever heard the phrase, racist systems built by racist people but maintained by non-racist people? Ooh. So it's like, for example, housing, right? So we know about redlining in the past, and how Black people weren't allowed to buy homes in certain areas, so their property value went up, and the areas that Black people were allowed to buy homes, their property value went down. So the school systems in the white spaces went up, or like their quality went up, and then the school systems in the Black neighborhoods went down. And now, you know, there are so-called non-racist people who have replaced the racists there, you know, but they're not going to do anything about those Black neighborhoods because they
upholding
created for them, right? So racist systems created by racist people, but maintained by non-racist people.
And they don't even realize how racist they're being. Isn't that crazy as hell?
Mm-hmm. And so when you are, and I'm talking to the audience, like if you are a bartender and you are behind the bar and people treat you that way, it's because they are still holding on to those racist systems in the bar and restaurant world. And they may call themselves non-racist, and you might have coworkers who be like, "I'm not racist," or wanna stand on a corner when a Black man is getting checked by a police officer. But when they come to work, they disrespect you in front of everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this, so Glenfiddich Scotch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this ad that they've been promoting on Facebook, and what they've been doing is they've been having people of other cultures, so like Asians, Black women, who's the face of it. And it's not even like, hey, culture. It doesn't really say anything to culture, but it's just like, hey, listen to these people's stories. They're bartenders, and it's not anything super, I guess, Black or whatever. And you see white men in the comments who are just like, well, they're just trying to race bait and all this other stuff. And it's like, they didn't say anything about race. They just have people who don't look like you. And they're so tight over the fact that these people who don't look white, who aren't like white men, are really into Glenfiddich, and they're promoting these things. Yeah. And they don't see it as racism at all. And it's just like they're reaching to a whole new demographic.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm glad there's people like you and Brown and Balance. You do things with Brown and Balance?
Yeah. I actually did an event with them 2018. I did Portland Cocktail Week with Josh and the crew. We did a little pop-up, girl. That's when I was pregnant too. I was like, let me tell you, I get a lot of questions from pregnant women. Like, ain't no reason to quit bartending. Who gonna pop you? Who gonna check you?
They should give you more money. Like, oh, let me give it to you and the little one.
Yeah, girl, I did everything while I was pregnant. I competed in cocktail competitions. Who gonna check me?
Right. But you're also on that T-shirt, right? That has all the names and it has that's you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You a celebrity.
Yeah, girl. I think that was an homage to all the people who helped out during the pandemic, or the ladies who were like featured during the pandemic. So yeah, that was really nice of Josh. Mine actually came in today, I think. I didn't have one until today.
You got to tag me so I can share it in my story so people can see how they can get a shirt. So we got 10 minutes left. I'm almost about to let you go. We got to do something called the Last Supper question.
Oh, you're good, girl.
Last Supper question is, if you're stuck on an island, okay, you have 3 things that you can use only, okay? You need a bartending tool that you have to have, what liquor that you have to use, and then one random thing that you would really want to have.
Okay, so is the tool only used for bartending, or is this like a multiple use tool?
I'm open to it. Let's see what you got.
I don't know. I was gonna say a shaker tin because, like, what if I need to like dig a hole? Use it, or use a cup. You know what I mean? So maybe I guess a shaker tin.
Why are you digging a hole?
You said it on the island.
I mean, yeah, but what do you need a hole for?
No, I'm
just pee anywhere. You don't need a hole. Okay, it's your island. All right, keep going.
Is that my answer? Yes, that's my answer. Shaker.
Okay, cool. Shaker too. All right.
I guess because it's my favorite. I don't know. Second question was a liqueur.
Well, liquor or liqueur? Yeah, for spirit.
I associate rum with beaches, so I would definitely some girl. Rum cocktails are perfect for the beach. Mojitos, a Cuba. I'm definitely a Cuba Libre bitch on vacation. Let me get my little rum and coke with my little lime, and then and I associate that cocktail with vacation. So whenever I order it, I'm like, man, I could be on the beach somewhere.
Right. Just for the Cuba Libre. Oh my God. I went to Puerto Rico and they were just like, the only thing that makes a Cuba Libre is when you use a Bacardi. And nigga, what?
Yes.
Okay. And the third one, what's any tool you have?
Bar tool?
Anything. The third one can be anything.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I like a tool.
I guess a tool. I'm automatically thinking of like.
And it doesn't have to be a tool, just anything.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. I said it wrong. I was drinking.
Dang, what could I like not go without? Some type of bag.
A bag?
I guess. I don't know, like a bag to carry my little shaker too.
Of all things. All right, hey man, it is your
I don't know what I would.
Yeah.
And then I got like 1,000. That's like my only luxury obsession is bags. I got like so I got.
What's your favorite bags? Are they like designer bags or?
Yeah. I gotta have.
What designer have?
Ooh, so I'm really obsessed with Coach. And now people like Coach. But let me tell you, Coach got a new designer a couple of years ago. I think it was a couple of years ago. And now their bags are really, really nice. I don't know if you've seen a lot of people with the little, like, the fluffy one. It's called, like, a pillow tabby, but it's basically like a fluffy Coach bag. And it's super cute. I don't have one yet. But, yeah, I love those bags. And they're super affordable. They're quality leather. And they're super cute.
I wish I was fancy enough to know bags.
Girl.
I just know like some random purse, a trash bag, maybe like the bags you get when you go to the grocery store and you just, you use those over and over again.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm bougie about is my bags and my nails when I get them done.
I am bougie about my nails. That's one.
Yeah.
Right. Because, you can't, it goes with the proper cuss out. Like, first of all, motherfucker, what you not about to get all up in. It just goes all together, I like my nails.
Yeah.
So
I try to have mine done when I do videos because I feel like it's for the culture. I gotta show my nails done.
It goes and it looks so well. Like when my nails are done, I love to talk with my hands. It could be nothing. I'm like, what are you doing today? Nothing. Has nothing. I'm just so proud of it. It's I don't know what it is. And the crazy part is, like, for so many years, it was called ghetto. That's ghetto. That's hood. That's hood. But now everybody getting their nails done. Now they got these super long stiletto nails.
Girl, don't even get me started on cultural appropriation. I'm so done. Let's not even get started on cultural appropriation of my social media content, which is another conversation.
Ooh, well, people are culturally appropriating your social media. Well, you set the standards.
So let me tell you. So I feel like it's like what people say about cocktails. There's no new cocktails, which was true. Mm-hmm. There's no new social media content to a certain context. But when you start following other content creators, and you know what their content style is like, and then they start tweaks kind of like yours, and it's like, oh, okay, you clearly bit that from me, but that's cool. I got right? And then they kind of like morph. I had to unfollow somebody recently because she posted a new video. And I'm like, I for a second I thought it was mine, and she ain't even black. And I'm like, oh, so you just
wow,
whole concept and make it yours. And of course, her being non-POC, her audience is a lot wider than mine, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, girl.
Yeah. I
didn't block her, but I did unfollow her. A lot of that. And I get it. I don't want to say I've copied people because I would never copy someone, but I've taken a concept and made it my own.
Yeah, and that's what you should do. And I don't know how will people using my concepts. Just like shout me out though. Shout me out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing. Shout somebody.
Shout me out. Share my shit. Like I'm always sharing everybody's stuff. I'm always sharing everybody's videos because at the end of the day, I want us to all win. You get there, I get there, we all get there. You know what I'm saying? So keep fighting that good fight. We got 4 minutes left. Janae, tell us if we want to follow you, if we want to support you, where can we see you, where you at, who you be, how can we get into the Janae cycle?
Yeah, so my kind of like star tender stuff. I hate that word, but I don't know another word to kind of like.
Why do you hate the word star tender? You're a star, baby.
I look like, I don't know, it's too much. Like, I'm not famous enough to be calling myself a star tender, but like, it's the easiest thing to sum up what I do. You know, if you want to stick to, you want to learn something about cocktails or like the bar world and just like basic bar concepts, yeah, just follow me on Angelle. If you're interested in my classes, you can follow me at Pretty Magic Cocktails with an S. We're also on Facebook. I've got a lot of content planned for March. Of course, February was so busy with not only classes, but Mardi Gras. But I've got a lot of projects in the works. I've got some projects next month on my personal account I'm really excited about. Works, and also some new class concepts and things. So yeah, I'm also going to start doing opt-in classes. So if you do want to take a class and you don't actually have a group, you have an opportunity to take a class as a single person. So stay tuned for that.
Wow, you're an extra inspiration to us who's coming up. You know, the fact that you came and spent some time with little old me, I appreciate that. You know, I'll continue to support you. You're fine with me posting this on my YouTube channel, right? You know, right. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't know if, you know, like I got warrants or something, because I do, but, you know, that's a whole other story. But I just want to make sure it's cool to put your stuff out there. You guys, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for hanging out with Miss Janae. Please follow her. Please support her. As you see, she is knowledgeable about her stuff. She's knowledgeable about her tools. And the only way that we can all make it is if we support each other, okay? So thanks again to you, ma'am. I hope you have a great night. Everyone, be safe, be sad, be loved. Bye.
Bye.